Well, everybody, what's the crack? And welcome back to episode number 11 of the Inline G Flute Podcast with me, your host, motherfucking Inline G. So we're back with another guest. 2 weeks in a row, we have had guests on the Inline G Podcast. I am spoiling yous. But this week is an actual flute player. So last week's episode with Jacques Zoon, which you guys will have seen, it actually hasn't came out at the time of recording this episode. Episode 10 hasn't came out yet, so maybe when this comes out, I'll be cancelled. But I'm not yet, anyway. So we've got an actual flute player on this episode. Today's guest comes fresh off his first two solo albums. Yeah, 2 solo albums. It's none other than fashion icon, Guinness connoisseur, and my amigo, Juan Cossío. Juan, how are you? Salud. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Who are you?
Well, I'm Juan Cossío. I'm a Spanish flute player from the north of Spain. And I know Gareth since quite some years because I was studying here in Cologne some years ago.
How long have we known each other?
I think like 4 years.
Just
maybe.
Before Corona, wasn't
just
it?
Before Corona. I came just before Corona here.
That. Yeah.
So, yes, I'm a classical flute player, like whatever you want to get out of that.
You were in the Cologne, you were studying here in Cologne, right, at the time?
That's it. I was studying the Hochschule für Musik here with Robert.
Yeah.
Winn. I did a master's here for 2 years. I finished in 2021.
Ah, is that it? Okay, wow.
Yeah, that's it.
It feels like a longer time, man.
Yeah, that's it.
And where were you before?
I was in Reina Sofia School in Madrid with Jacques Zoon.
Which we've talked about many times. We've had many conversations. I love Jacques Zoon. I actually haven't talked about him on this podcast yet because I feel like that's an episode in itself.
Because
he's a fascinating guy. I think it's fair to say, I mean this in the best way possible, but he's quite a weird guy as well.
No,
in the best way. I mean that as a compliment.
Absolutely, like in the best way.
Yeah. How did you find studying with Jacques Zoon?
Jacques, as you said, it's a one of a kind guy. Like it's and especially he's a one of a kind flute player. You know.
Yeah, he's like
you don't get the average Probespiel audition solos guy like every lesson about the Mozart. No. Jacques is like all about music and the art that is inside the music.
Almost to an extreme extent. Like there's zero ego, it seems, with Jacques Zoon when he plays. It's pure dedication to the music.
Like, you know, when you arrive to a certain level of quality in what you do, you become a humble person. That's my...
Do you think so? Yeah.
Like, at least for Jacques, it's like that. Like
for Jacques it is,
like a very, very nice flute player. He's very famous. He's going to be like in flute history books or whatever.
I hope so,
And he might know that, but he's very humble all the time. You don't see a slide like this of ego.
I don't hear as much about him now. I think maybe also with the invention of like streaming and stuff. I know a lot of his records aren't on streaming services.
No.
Which makes me a little bit sad. I think maybe the generation nowadays is going to lose out a little bit in Jacques Zoon because they haven't got access to his records in the way that even I would have when I was a kid, where you would have bought them or went looking for them. He was a household name, but because he's not on streaming, I might get a little bit lost. I feel like there is a great video, I think it's still, of him playing the E-Bar Concerto on YouTube.
Yes, with the Boston Symphony, I think.
Yeah. But it was so good. It was. But it's quite a rough recording. I think it's an official recording. The one I saw, it was like someone on their phone or
something.
But it was awesome. But that's kind of it. When you get his name into streaming on YouTube, he doesn't come up as much. And I really hope that.
I think he even doesn't have like a Spotify artist profile. Like
I don't think so, actually. Yeah.
There are some recordings like with the Concertgebouw Orchestra.
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
But you don't get like a Emmanuel Pahud profile, for example. You know, you cannot just check on Jacques Zoon music on Spotify, and that's pity because he has quite some nice recordings.
Do you have any CDs of his?
I have at least one of the full Bach sonatas.
I have a Bach one as well, somewhere.
That is super nice. I know, I'm lying. There's an album with, I think, this Mozart Orchestra, I think, with Claudio Abbado conducting, and it's like...
He did stuff with the Concertgebouw Abbado as well,
And this is like... Not London Mozart players, like Mozart Orchestra, something like that, and Claudio Abbado, and then it's like flute concertos by Jacques Zoon, Albrecht Meyer playing also oboe concerto. Something like that.
Cool.
I'm playing
all Mozart concertos?
No, not all Mozart concertos. I think it's No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know if it's like the G major and then Albrecht Meyer plays the C major for a bow.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just check it on Spotify because that is out there.
I do have to think that. Yeah, he's a great player, to be fair. I will do an episode on him, purely on him. So yeah, you went to Reina Sofia then, and where are you from?
I'm from Gijón, which is a town in a small city in the north coast of Spain, in the Atlantic.
Is that spelled Gijon?
That's it, Gijon.
I think I've talked about this before, but is that where I know them purely for Sporting?
That's Sporting de Gijón.
Also, I didn't. The video listeners can maybe the video listeners. I keep saying that. The video watchers. I was debating what to wear today, and I was like, do I have any Spanish football tops? I have one. I have a 1998 Real Betis top. I don't know how far away. Betis is quite far away.
It's from Sevilla, so it's quite the opposite part of Spain. But we are good friends with Betis.
We're close enough. Yeah. But yeah, I think we've talked about that many times. Yeah, me and Juan know each other for a few years now, but I'd say 95% of our interactions have came in an Irish pub.
Yeah, 95 is like a lower
that's quite low. Yeah, and I feel like our conversations are one of the very few times in my life where I'm happy to go to a pub and talk about flute. Normally when I get to the pub, the last thing I want to talk about is classical music and the flute, but we have had some brilliant conversations in pubs over flute, so
definitely.
Yeah, this feels like a good moment to get you on the podcast.
Absolutely.
So yeah, okay, then I'll tell you guys quickly what we're going to get up to today. To be honest, I haven't made many plans because, as you've noticed, we are 6 minutes into this podcast already. I haven't even told you what we're doing because me and Juan are going to be fine with chatting. You guys are just invited into the room to join it with us. So we're going to chat a bit. We'll obviously be talking about Juan's albums that have just recently came out, which I'm mental for. They're fucking class. And then I've got some games later on, which hopefully you guys at home can play along with too. I did put games into the Jakob episode last week. He did shite at them. So we've got actual flute games this week, which are maybe a little bit too hard, but you'll be alright. Yeah, and that's it. We'll just chat. Why don't you tell everyone what we're drinking first?
Of course, we are drinking the one and only Sangria. For my Magaluf friend.
Yeah. Just before we started recording, Juan was telling me he was in Magaluf. Which, as a young man from Belfast, well, not that young, but as a man from Belfast, I have a very different experience in Magaluf to what you had. I went on a lad's holiday when I was 18 with 10 other guys, and I swear to God, Magaluf was like the apocalypse. It was like the end of the world, that place. And I feel like you had a very different experience in Magaluf.
But I swear to God also that it's like the apocalypse. I just went to other part of the city.
It was all, I honestly...
to the beach.
I feel like I can tell I'm very open about talking on this podcast about most things, but I can't talk about what happened in Magaluf. I feel like I go to jail if I talk about that. I really can't. It definitely has to stay there. That place needs to be burned to the ground. But yeah, you had a much nicer experience. So we're drinking sangria. Is there different recipes of sangria?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a basic drink. It's just wine with soda and fruit and sugar, but you can add... I mean, if you want to add some booze on it, it's cool.
Is there like regional specialities?
Yeah, it's more from the south center of Spain, because the north part of Spain is more about cider, like apple drinks.
Okay.
Like in Galicia, in Asturias, where I'm from, and in the Basque Country, like all that northwest part of Spain is more about apple drinks.
Do you get Calvados? That's a big no. They have one in France called Calvados, and it sounds like it's Spanish, but it's from the north of France. It's like an apple whiskey nearly.
Oh, no.
It's very strong.
We don't do like liqueurs normally. It's just like fermented cider, something like that. So wine is more from the dry part of Spain, you know, and therefore wine drinks are from there. But yeah, it's like a very common drink in Spain. And it's basically a way to make wine taste sweeter and
which alright, Spanish wine is alright as it is, to be honest, but I do love a wee sangria. It makes me feel like I'm on holidays. And we talked as well. I was asking Juan like what should we drink on the podcast, and I did suggest as well Calimocho. I'm a big fan of. When I went to Royal Welsh College, there was a lot of Spanish people in my year. And when we were like, obviously when you're 18, you're at music college, you're trying to drink as cheap as you can. They were always drinking this red wine with Coca-Cola, and I was like, what the fuck is that, man? And it was so nice. And it's still like my little, if I have to drink on a hangover, if someone's put the gun to my head and said I have to drink, that's one of my go-to ones.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's great.
Love Calimocho.
If you've never had it, you should try. Is it 50-50?
It's 50-50 or even 60-40, something
between
like that.
Coca-Cola and red wine?
No, like 60 wine, 40 Coca-Cola, something like that. Like,
and a bit of ice as well.
Yeah, a bit of ice, and if you want some sugar or something
it's so like good. You think hearing it, like red wine and Coca-Cola, that sounds awful. It's fucking delicious.
Amazing. And there's a white version, which is white wine with a Sprite. They call rebujito in south of Spain. And that's also very good. Yeah.
Ooh. Well, yeah, so we're on the sangrias this week. We've been chatting for a while already. This seems like a natural moment to just mention quickly, you can donate to the podcast. As every week, I will keep saying this. You can donate to the podcast. There's a link in the description here. There's a link in my Instagram bio. There's a link wherever you find me where you can buy me a sangria. The price of a sangria, and all I'm going to use that for is the cost towards the podcast. The podcast will always be free. I'm never going to do a Patreon. We're going to charge for extra episodes. If you want to donate, happy days. Thank you very much. It's incredibly appreciated. If you can't afford to, you can listen for free. Happy days. So, anyway, let's get into a little bit of... Let's talk some flute. You've had 2 albums out this year, and that feels like what we have to talk about. So, tell me about when did each album come out, and tell me a little bit about what's on each album. So what was the first album? When did it come out?
The first album I did record, it was recorded this last, I think, February 2023. And it's the complete works for flute and guitar by Gaspar Kummer. Gaspar Kummer is a German composer, 19th century, from the middle of Germany, this Erfurt, Weimar zone, really middle of Germany. And he was like a musician from the court, like the kind of guy that was composing and playing different instruments, like almost everybody at that time, but
did he play the flute?
He played the flute, of course. And the thing is, like, he wrote a big collection of flute and guitar music, like originally written for flute and guitar. And it was never recorded. Like you can find I think only one track was recorded like in an album, but not the full music of him wasn't recorded at all. So we did a first whole recording, which is like the complete works for flute and guitar. About this guy Kummer, like, despite the music is quite naive in a way, because it's all amusements, like, it's like furniture music, like Satie would say. It's not like serious chamber music, like this kind of no, it's just
I'm trying to think of a composer I could compare him to, or that kind of era, to give you an idea, but I'm thinking of more composers like that, like Hummel maybe as well is something similar, but that's a composer that no one knows either. So.
I mean, there's a lot of in a way there's a lot of German music from the 19th century, which is and from the 18th century and before, which is just music to accompany, like, in a room or something like that, but it's not like the main character. Of course, Beethoven is all the other way. But anyways, it's so cool because you can hear that the guy did really play the flute, and he was like a good flute player. And also, if I'm not mistaken, like, the time is kind of the same where the Bohem flute was invented, like the Bohem system for the flute. Yeah, it would be
about that time,
And you can see that through the music. If you listen to, like, the things that are written for the flute, it's very difficult to play them with a pre-Bohem flute. So it's kind of
show off.
It's a show off, like, look at this new technology we have
can do
here.
This now,
We can do it. And so basically it's like a full recording, like first world recording of the full works for flute and guitar, and there are not that much flute and guitar original music, so there
isn't, no. And to be fair, the guitar player, I obviously don't know personally, but the guitar playing on it is wonderful.
He's a very fine.
Can I ask you, first of all, why you chose this composer? Was it a joint decision with the guitar player?
Actually it was the guitar player who told me, like, they were looking for a flute player for doing these recordings, and I was like, I gave the profile, let's say, and the thing, like, he told me, look, I've been doing some investigation on this, and apparently there is no recording whatsoever of this music, and you'll see, but it's wonderful. Like, the composer is unknown. Like, if you Google him, there's like few lines in Wikipedia, and it's like he's not a famous dude, but normally this happens with music history, like, you get some, like, beautiful, nice composers just hidden because of
and it's not a reflection of them not being a quality problem. It's not saying they're less quality, it's just maybe they've got unlucky with the time they're composing at. They're contemporaries. Like, obviously in Germany in the late 1800s, 1900s, there was a lot of German music, and a lot of big German music. The heavy romantic period, Germany was dominated by, like, Beethoven, and then later obviously people like Mahler and Brahms, and so it's hard to compete against those guys.
No, of course, there's always been some mainstream, even though, like, the big guys were complaining, like Wagner, for example, was complaining a lot about Mendelssohn and Liszt, like,
but Wagner complains about everything.
Of course.
You like Wagner, don't you? You're a bit of a Wagner fan.
I'm a bit of a Wagner fan.
I never got the bug for Wagner. It's the one composer I never really got
No, I really love his music always, and I went to Bayreuth Festival.
You did with the Bayreuth, yeah.
And I was there like, okay, no, this
Did you do the room with like where it's all dark and stuff? Isn't that the no?
Yeah, it's full pitch black.
Yeah, not even like emergency signs. Someone told me it's
emergency.
Fully,
There, 19th century in a theater designed by Richard Wagner. Forget about that.
Yeah.
So,
have you played Wagner?
Yes, but some years ago, and not that much. It's
opera or like overtures?
No, overtures, of course,
okay.
Vorspiel. It's when you play like gigs. Normally, it's music that is not programmed for a normal concert because it's fucking difficult
and it's heavy and it's rich.
Yeah, so it's only for special concerts. Like you don't get like a 3 rehearsal gig and play
you don't.
Parsifal overture.
Forget
about that.
Yeah, you're not going to jump into Das Tango at the last minute. Yeah, is that a bit of a goal of yours then? Would you love to play Wagner at some point, like a full Wagner opera?
I mean, I would love to do that. Despite they are quite long.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But I'm sure like when you get to rehearse them like 10 times and you get to know what is happening inside, it's so cool. Maybe it's cooler for the musicians than for the audience.
I think the adrenaline would definitely keep you going as well, because like imagine being in the middle of that sound, like
has to be
like amazing. It's incredible. Like I can only compare it to like I've never actually went to a Wagner concert, not a full opera, but I've been to a lot of Strauss, like Richard Strauss, and that's the same kind of music. And just being around an orchestra playing that kind of music is like, it's like a religious experience.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. Like I've been to Electra and stuff like that, and it's just and I can imagine Wagner's like that, but a little bit more intense and for 6 hours.
I think you have to be more concentrated in general, because Richard Strauss is just coming and saying like, hi, there's like wonderful music and you just need to be sitting down to enjoy it. And Wagner is more like as a listener, I feel like you have to invest in Wagner. It's not even to listen to. It's not even easy to listen to. No, definitely.
Okay, cool. Well, anyway, so back to your first album then. This is going to happen a lot. We're going to back to your first album. So you've recorded it. They chose the guitar player, then chose the composer.
Yeah.
Have you worked with a guitar player before?
No, it was our first time.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bet, like let's see what happens here.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the guy is quite famous. He has like a big career behind him.
He's got a Spotify profile and all as well.
Yeah. So. He's been doing a lot. Like he's 61 years old now, I think, and he's been playing all around the globe, like literally, everywhere but Antarctica, I think. He was playing, and he has recorded everything, and he's like very, very fine guitar player. So I was kind of going like, okay, I haven't played with this guy, but I guess it will work. And
when you play with a great musician, it tends to work, doesn't it? Yeah,
of course, it tends to work.
And how much did you rehearse beforehand? Like, what was the period of sort of getting to know each other?
I remember.
I'm so curious about like the insight to this.
I went
project.
to Madrid, and this was definitely in February, and I was doing like a random gig with a gig orchestra, and so it was like horrible. So I'm not gonna say the name, but really not cool ambience, let's call it like that. And so it took much more time than I was expecting. So because my plan was to do like 3 rehearsals and let's go. I don't have 1 month to do this because I'm busy at doing other stuff. So my plan was to rehearse in if I had an orchestral rehearsal in the morning, then I would have recording rehearsal in the afternoon. But I got quite exhausted, so I took some more days. That's intense, because I was doing like 4 hours of principal flute in the orchestra, and then 4 hours of rehearsing for this music. So
also like jumping between being principal flute of an orchestra to then doing chamber music. And the switch mentally that needs, and the sound change and fatigue, like it's.
We were like in a small theater, like in the pit, and then I had to change to do like delicate chamber music with the guitar, and it's like
totally different stuff,
because you change from screaming like as your first flute in a pit, from just being like
delicate, needles,
it was hard flute days, I have to say. So let's call it like 1 week of rehearsal, something like that.
Okay, and then you went straight into the recording studio.
Yes.
And how long was the recording process?
They were 3 days, but we recorded at night, like at evening. Like we started at, let's say, 7-8 o'clock in the afternoon, and then until we were exhausted.
Is that for heat reasons, or?
It was because we weren't using this is one of the biggest discoveries I did with discographic so far. There's of course the chance like you can record in a recording venue, which are prepared and everything, but the acoustic it's really uncomfortable, especially for chamber music with two instruments like flute and guitar, which are not like a trombone. Like you can make big sound, but don't get. So we rented for some days a church in the middle of Madrid.
Okay.
And
so because we had
like of course, and the church has this beautiful, round sound. Like if you do a concert in a church with this kind of instruments, like with strings, with a harp, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun to play into. Yeah.
The thing is, like, we recorded these albums in the highest resolution possible, which is the XD.
This was something I wanted. Yeah. So when you guys released it originally, didn't you release it as a version online where you get the original resolution?
We released the album in a platform that is called Native DSG.
Yeah.
And it's a platform. It's a Dutch company that has this online platform for only high quality, like super high quality audio. And so what they do is like you can have like a free trial of the album, but with basic resolution like MP3, and then you can buy it in the highest resolution.
I find that fascinating, as well. Because obviously Spotify and stuff like that, streaming sites, they will obviously cut the resolution to make sure it can be streamed.
I mean,
because when it's in the original resolution, the files are enormous as well.
Yeah.
But it's so cool that you've offered that option as well to do
it.
Because there is a difference. Personally, I even find with CDs, the quality in CDs is fantastic compared to streaming.
Absolutely, yes.
You can hear the finer details. That's really cool. So then you record the first album, you're done. When do you decide, right, let's get back into the studio this year and do another one?
Because we were like, both the guitarist and I were like, okay, we kind of have some time now to do it, and we are already used to play together, so let's just don't lose it. Like, we just played like crazy. Like, we've been rehearsing 7 days, and we've been recording like 6 hours a day, 3 days, like from 8 p.m. to 2 or 3 a.m. So we were like, okay, we're very used to play together now, so let's do the second one, as soon as possible.
Amazing.
And I did it in May, I think. May or June.
And when did you decide what to choose for the repertoire for the second album?
The second album also was chosen by the recording label and the guitarist, because the plan was they suddenly found this other composer that had also like a full collection of works originally written for flute and guitar, not for flute and violin or it's really flute and guitar. Also in the same style, because it's a German composer from the 19th century and from the same place in Germany, more or less. And also it hadn't been recorded yet. So
what's the composer's name?
It's Michael Henkel.
Obviously, I know, I'm just doing it for this.
Of course.
I listened to the album.
The guy is Michael Henkel, also beautiful composer. He has like a cello and piano sonata, like amazing music. But
is there any chance the two composers could have known each other?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, do you reckon?
They were contemporary. They were working kind of in the same place.
They would have been delighted if they were alive now and they would have finally saw you doing it.
Look at these guys.
I'm wearing Germany now. We could have gone for a pint with them tonight.
Yeah, it would be nice. But we need a time machine for that.
But
So yes, they were like, okay, we want to do like these 2 albums with this repertoire because no one has done it before, and we think it's
cool as well.
Really cool music.
Recording your own stuff and recording it for the first time. There's a freedom to that. Well, I've never done it, but I can imagine there's a freedom to it of there's no pressure of all these recordings before you. I mean, like, the interpretation might be that, and this is accepted, and this is what we don't do. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
Absolutely. Like, I felt like discovering like a new piece of land.
Do you enjoy like working on a piece of music where you don't have any basis? Do you just, it's brand new, it's fresh?
I enjoyed it much more than playing music that it's already recorded and that everyone knows. Like, for example, as a flute player or as a classical player, you get to play like 90% of the music you play is something that it's being played like thousands of times.
We have a limited rep, so
that's it. So suddenly finding not a piece, like a full collection of pieces that no one has recorded before. It's like, hey, here's the keys of the Ferrari.
It is, you do your
fucking
thing. For a spin.
That's it. I love it because you get the chance to say like, hey, I really don't like this articulation here, for example. So I will just change it because for me it's more logical like this, and this edition is not original. Also, it's like some transcription that
and nobody's gonna know.
Nobody's
gonna write it and say, well, actually, there's no idea.
This is more logical for me, and this note I think it should be sharp. Blah blah blah, and you take this kind of
the liberties.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's really cool, man. So, second album, when did that get recorded?
It was recorded, I think, on May.
And when was it out?
It was out late June, early July, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's, to me, that's still insane. We were talking about this before we started recording, but to record 2 albums that quickly together, to me, it's brave as well.
It's hard.
Yeah. But do you enjoy that process of doing 2 albums so close together, or would you have liked a little bit more time between them?
No, I would have loved to have like more time for doing them.
Okay.
But that happens with any project.
Yeah,
you
never have enough time, do you?
You know, 2 more days, because when you're finishing it, you are like with this rush of saying like, oh, I have many ideas.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed doing them this close because I was like in a rush. That's like not in a bad way, but I was on strike, I think is the I was doing them like one and the other, and this piece, the other. So
is there a benefit to that as well? Though maybe you don't get time to overthink things. You just sort of have to.
That's it.
You have to roll with it. Yeah.
Overthinking is a big problem in music in general, and
recording I find is the worst. Anytime I've ever, well, not anytime, but 90% of recording things I do, if I get given too much time to record, it nearly always ends up being the first or second take that I end up using.
Absolutely. Like, I knew, like, if I didn't make it in the second, it was just like, hey, let's leave it for later. You know?
Yeah,
Of course, that shit happens all the time when you're recording. So, and when you have that much music to record, it's like you really stop overthinking and you just go, because you're like, hey, I don't want to be here 1 week.
Yeah.
You know. So it's been good to do them these together. I really enjoyed it.
And you have, so is it released in CD form as well?
No, these 2 by the moment they are in online format, because right now physical CDs, it's difficult to sell them.
And of course. But I was curious, just would you not be curious to get 1 copy just for yourself?
I'm on it. Like, for sure I will get some copies.
Yeah.
But
this is a souvenir more than anything.
That's it. It's a souvenir. But the problem is, like, when you are working on high definition, everything is more expensive. So
true.
If you wanna manufacture like let's say, I don't know, 200 copies of the album, it's super expensive.
And
you have to be sure
gonna buy them
that
either,
you're gonna sell them. Like, you have to be this kind of soloist that goes doing chamber music recitals all over the place, and then you put this tiny little
because that's the only place you want to sell them. I didn't buy a CD. I nearly bought a CD last week. I was at a rock concert of a friend. His band were launching their album, and I went to their merch shop afterwards, and I was like, oh, I'd love to hear the album. Like, it's not on streaming yet, but you can buy it in hard copy. I was like, oh, great, I'll buy a CD. And then they were like, do you have a CD player? And I was like, fuck, no, actually I don't. And I actually don't. My PlayStation 5 doesn't even play CDs. So I don't even know what I do with the CD. And that's kind of the problem. I love having them, and I have a huge collection of them, but I can't remember the last time I put one on. I have a vinyl player, but then getting vinyls printed is a pain in the ass.
No. I mean, vinyls is something from the past. I love them. I have a huge collection of classical music vinyls, but I only get like the old ones.
You don't buy new ones?
No, I don't buy digital record vinyls, because it's ridiculous. Vinyls need to be physically recorded.
I agree. Do you have any good fruit vinyls? Do you have any nice ones?
Yeah. I got actually 3 or 4 some weeks ago from my uncle, because he has like one of the biggest private collections in Spain of vinyls. And I got like Aurélien Nicolet, Paulette Moon Davis, I think, and Jean-Pierre Rampal, I have some, and of course Jimmy Galway.
Do you get a Jimmy Galway one? Which one do you get?
I don't remember, because I just took them like, I don't know, sonatas of some baroque thing.
We've talked about Galway before so many times. We talked about a lot of things in the pub that I can't really remember what we said. But
they were amazing.
You're a Galway fan, yeah?
I'm a huge James Galway fan.
I need to fucking defend him in this podcast, man.
I mean, James Galway is my favorite flute player, with a big difference. I'm no shade to the other ones who are also very good, but James Galway is the true king of the flute. Now,
can I ask you, is that because of the quality of his playing, his interpretation, everything?
Absolutely everything. First of all, he's this kind of virtuoso that makes music look easy.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like you hear any piece by James Galway, and it looks so easy, like in a good way. It doesn't seem like complicated, because you get to see these other people just having a bad time playing Ibert concerto, these kind of things, and James Galway is just there like.
The Ibert concerto recording is ridiculous. I got that like a few years ago. I think it was Deutsche Grammophon released the huge collection of everything he'd recorded. So all I see was a big box set for one of his anniversaries, and I got it. And they come in like little small sleeves, and I got the Ibert concerto.
But it's from the RCI.
It is.
But whatever.
You're totally right. Yeah. And I play, because I hadn't really heard the Ibert concerto played by Galway that much, because he sort of, when he went solo and stuff, he sort of moved away from that music, and that was around the time where it was becoming popular. So he didn't really do it. But oh my god, it's fucking wild to listen to. I even saw a live video the other day of him playing it. I stumbled across a video of him playing it, and there's even a few, like, I say wrong notes, but they are kind of wrong notes. There's a couple of things where you can see, like, he's probably just learned it like 5 minutes before he went on stage. And even then, he doesn't give a fuck. It rocks.
It
The whole
rocks,
thing,
man.
you're like, man, how the fuck can you play that? And a couple of little slips here, which you can see has nothing obviously to do with James Galway. If he plays wrong notes or like slight slips, it's probably because he just hasn't really practiced it.
Absolutely.
Or he can't be fucked.
I mean, I don't care if I hear wrong notes in a recording, especially from someone like the sound quality, the musicianship, everything is so good, and I'm like, yeah, whatever.
And even like the later Galway, when he sort of changed his style, like obviously the older Galway got the more over the top the
Are
interpretations.
we talking about the John Denver
Galway?
Galway?
Okay, what do you think about the John Depp? What do you think about Annie's song?
I just love the fact that this guy, after
Did it, yeah.
becoming like principal flute in Berlin and all the orchestras he was before all this
punk rock.
recording. What, sorry?
It's very punk rock. It's very like do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. I mean, but for example,
The music's not bad.
Herbie Mann, you know him, the jazz flute player.
Yeah.
He started also as a jazz bebop flute player,
Yeah.
and then he got famous and he started recording whatever the fuck he wanted because he was like, it's my life. I will play whatever I want.
See, this is one of the things I think I defend about Galway as well, is he does exactly what I would do if I was that good. I would do all that shit. Man, the main reason I appreciate that, okay, I don't like John Denver in general, I think his music's shite, but the thing I liked about Annie's song is he was on top of the, do you know Top of the Pops? The UK chart show, it's gone now, but it used to be on, so it was all the top pop bands and the top 10 did a live concert. And Galway was like number 8 in the charts or something with Annie's song, like in the pop charts, and he went on Top of the Pops playing it, and I was like, man, I would fucking love to do that. I don't care what the fuck I'm playing, being on Top of the Pops.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
as good as it gets.
At some point, he was like, "Hey, look, Karajan, I'm leaving the house." Like,
which, like, to say that they heard about Karajan.
Who could ever say that? James Galway.
I don't think anyone. I don't think they've ever had a principal flute that's quit before
for pursuing a soloist career.
I don't think that's ever happened.
Like, try that today, man.
Yeah, man, it's fucking unbelievable. Yeah.
No.
He's rock and roll as fuck. Like, I can understand some criticisms of him. I can understand some ideas of it. And yeah, he's not always the easiest person, to be totally honest, but yeah, man, it's James Galway. I think it's cool to hate Galway these days as well. There's a bit of a school of like, oh, he's over the top, he's this, he's that, and I get that, but I've always said this, I said the same about Paul Evan Davies as well. If I could play like James Galway, I probably wouldn't, but I can't play like that.
No, if I could play
no
like
one could play
Galway,
like that.
I could definitely.
And if I could play like that, I probably would do some crazy shit as well. It's like, yeah, who gives a fuck? It's me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can do it.
You could be doing some Maria Carey, I'm sure, like the first day.
To be fair, if I was in that situation where I was that good and I climbed all the peaks, I'd definitely be just ringing up the Arctic Monkeys, being like, guys, do you need a flute player? That's it. Let's collab. He did some weird collaborations as well, James Galway, which I respect. A bit like Pavarotti as well, did all that kind of stuff. But Pavarotti at the base is still fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Similar kind of school, very romantic, very heavy. I'm glad you're a Galway fan. So you've got your 2 albums out. How are you feeling about the reception of them?
I'm very happy, man. Like, people were super kind with me. Actually, they are like the posts I have in my Instagram with more likes and more comments of people saying like, because they were such a nice reception, because Flute World sometimes is not that good.
Really?
You also know, guys, like there are some assholes out there, but
assholes in the flute world.
Amazing, incredible. No. But so I thought like to get some sassy comments maybe, or some jealousness or some shit like that, and people were like, just, hey, I love your album, this music is amazing.
Plus you're a cool guy and you've done your work honestly, and you deserve to have 2 great albums out. So now that you've got, I think a lot of us are just like,
thank you for
fair play to you, man. It's great. So you got good reception and you're happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy. Like, I don't know, it's good music. I honestly think it's well played, and yeah, of course it's a nice product, let's say. So people kind of liked it, and I only got like either nice feedback or nice questions on I don't know, how was the recording process, like what you're asking me, like, so I'm happy that people likes it, and also I'm happy to share what I've learned of this experience from the flute player.
And you get to go on things like the Inline Flute podcast, the most famous flute podcast in the world, and talk about it. So what more could you want? Well, that's awesome. Obviously we won't go on anything specific, but what does the future hold for Juan Cossío? What's next?
Look, I'm gonna be completely honest and crystal clear with this. I've been all my career and all my professional flute life trying to have a plan. Yeah. And suddenly, I don't know, Corona happened, and always shit happens. And especially with Corona, it was suddenly our job was illegal. Like, you couldn't play, you couldn't teach, you couldn't do nothing. Maybe some online thing, but let's say no.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is like if you have plans, like very solid plans in music and flute world, and you are not versatile, and you don't bend, you are fucked.
You're
like
fucked, yeah.
you are completely fucked because I see.
So what if your control, isn't it?
It's nothing is in your control. Not even winning an audition. Like you can be like a super nice player, and you can go to an audition and really kill it. But it's not your choice to work there. Like there's a full jury that will say, okay, this guy or this other.
And most of it, we talked about, obviously we both do a lot of orchestral auditions and stuff. The process can be fucking horrible. But there's times where you go in the audition, you feel like you've nailed it, and you know straight away they're looking at you going, no, we just don't like you. You're just not our cup of tea. And you go, well, there's literally fuck all I can do.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, I've done auditions and going out saying like, my God, what the shit have I done? This was horrible.
I've done that as well.
And then, you know, you pass around or they take you or whatever. And then I've done some auditions like I was like, oh my God, this guy really had a nice moment listening to me. And it was like, get the fuck out of here right now.
It's insane.
It's like,
it does teach you that there's no control in this whatsoever.
There's no control on this whatsoever. Just do your thing, do your work as best as you can do it,
and see what happens,
and just trust the process. So for me, I don't have that big strategy anymore because life has taught me like you see and you do. So I get a place in an orchestra, maybe I teach in a school, maybe I do both things, maybe I quit flute and open a beach bar. I don't know. Let's see.
You could definitely open up a beach bar, to be honest, man. Like, I can 100% see you open up a beach bar. You could open up an Irish bar on the beach.
Oh, that would be nice.
In Mallorca, we'll do it together.
That is some business.
I swear to God, I think this is the first time we've had a drink together that it's not Guinness. You're a mad man for the Guinness, aren't you?
I love Guinness, actually. Yeah, you taught
Did we ever do the Guinness challenge thing? Was that a thing?
Taught me that.
I've
been showing that game to everyone when I have a Guinness. Like, I wish we.
I can't remember if that was pre-corona or not. Well, we might go for a quick Guinness after recording.
No, definitely a quick one.
Come on. But that will not be on the episode.
No.
You guys don't need to see that. Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get back and do some games. Before we do, I want to leave the listeners with a little taste of your first album. Can you give us your favorite track or your favorite part of your first album, and I'll play it for them.
I will just read it because
of course you're not saying your own album, but
I mean it's like this movement and this other. So give me a second.
So tell me what. Like I'll put in a small, and I'm assuming your record label are not going to sue me for this, are they?
Oh no, definitely my music is for you, man, for free, as for always, like this podcast. Okay, from my first album, I will go with the Opus 70, the 60 participants, the number 4, the Andante. The first part, it's like an Andante, and then we go to the fast part. But that first Andante is 30 seconds of just melodic minor music for flute, piano, simple, simplice. And it's just beautiful. When I played that melody for the first time, I was like, how is this not in flute books? Like, this is wonderful. So that one,
I think you've sold me on it. Well then, guys, I'm going to leave you with that quickly. We're going to get another drink, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy. Well, everybody, we're back. We've got another sangria. Expertly poured as well. Looks beautiful. Is this one's... It is good as me with Rioja. Yeah, so we're going to play some games, which I'm so excited about because I can't play games on my own on the podcast. So it's nice to have a flute player here that's actually going to do well. Again, anyone who saw last week's episode will see how much of a bollocks Jakob made of the whole thing. So it's nice to have someone who's going to actually at least have a good guess at things. Before we do, actually, some of the video watchers might have realised, what's the word for that? Video watchers? That doesn't sound right.
I think so. Like, I don't know, you're the English speaker
I know,
guy.
I'm Irish, well, English is better than mine. We have two flutes here, because obviously you have another flute player. So, Juan, tell us a little bit about your flute there.
Okay, this is my flute here. I will take it for a second.
Yeah.
It's another inline G flute,
Yes,
because that is
we've been
what
talking
is
about this
rocking.
song.
Like
Fuck
this
off,
is an,
said G.
actually it's quite a basic flute.
You were
It's
saying.
it's an Altus 1307 flute, which is the all silver model by Altus, like a silver tube, silver mechanism, but nothing else. Like it's like, I don't know, like a Muramatsu DS, something like that.
Yeah. So C-foot joint,
yes,
no splitty.
it's C-foot joint, which is I used to play on B-foot joint, and going back to C-foot joint, I have to say it's the biggest improvement on flute itself that I've done in my life.
Entirely with that, yeah.
Like suddenly intonation and timbre and everything is much better.
The high notes I find easier, and just it feels more comfortable,
absolutely,
more natural.
like it weights less.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to have a B-foot joint just to play the Shostakovich 10th solo, and I don't know, Carmen Fantasy once every 10 years.
And even the Carmen Fantasy, it's not like serious music where you need to play it. Like,
absolutely. I mean, it's not, as I told you before, if I could have like a D foot joint, the one that is just like this, I could have it.
Yeah.
It's just chop a piece out of your flute. It's gonna be much nicer.
Although you do play with a thumb board.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you find that?
I find it very cool because I have like very big hands,
you do,
like and rude hands, like
like Spanish potato farmer.
That's it. I have a Spanish farmer hands.
Yeah.
So I tend to have some tension, like to tight a lot on the flute. So the thumb port. This is not paid by them. Okay, this is not an ad, but
we can't
anyways, I'm
afford
very happy with this product. It's so cheap and it helps me a lot. Like. Not only to remove my tension, but when I feel like I'm just
that's interesting.
having a tense day, I'm putting all the tension here, like on my thumb. So if you have these days that
so it's not as much for slipping then, it's more for tension.
Yeah, it's like I have like a point where I put my flute on, and if I'm doing some extra force that I don't want to do, I just try to concentrate it here, and my fingers there are just free to play.
Awesome. That's really cool.
That's cool, yeah.
And I like that we were talking about this earlier, so obviously it's all silver. It's got the tarnish at the top, which I love when a silver flute has it looks so like artistic and used.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
what's with the
this head joint is not from Altus, I have to say. This is the head joint I used to play with my old flute. This is a John Webb head joint, which is like very crafty. Well, not crafty because the guy was like a pro. John Webb was the orfebre is in Spanish, like like a silversmith or something like that for the British church. And he was doing like in Wimbledon, the tennis game, he was doing the trophies of
seriously, I didn't know that.
This kind of artistry, and he started doing these flute head joints with Stephen Wessel, the flute maker.
There you are.
I used to have Stephen Wessel, and I kept this head joint because they are so cool. Like they are seam tube, so it's like a layer of silver that they turn and then do some. They solder it.
Okay.
I just love it. It might be like, I don't know, 50 years old, something like this, but it's just amazing, so light and so cool. And like the signature of this guy, I don't know if you see it, it's like this crown that looks like like an Italian church.
Yeah, it's so nice looking.
Yeah, it's cool. It's actually, I mean, I could sell every instrument I have, but this head, this is.
So if you don't mind me asking, what do you think the rough value of your flute is overall?
Like market value, if I sell my flute today with today's prices,
about 15 quid.
Counting on the fact that these head joints you don't find them in the market at all. Like you are lucky and you find them in some English shop. But let's call it nowadays 2K would be a nice price for this head joint, like a nice price for you as a buyer. And the rest of the flute, I don't know, we're talking about 6,000, 7,000 euros of a flute on a second-hand price. Like, of course, new.
So again, we're talking under 10,000 for the entire instrument.
I think unless I'm James Galway myself, I don't think I will play with a flute that costs more than, I don't know, 10, 12,000 euros. I find it absolutely ridiculous.
I agree entirely.
I don't think the gap in price, it fits the gap in quality.
I agree. It's small differences after a certain point. Good flutes are good flutes. After a certain point. If you can afford like a 24 karat gold Haynes, fair play to you, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better.
Absolutely. I mean, I think actually, no shade, but there is a lot of people buying this kind of super expensive flutes because they think they are going to play better just because of having these flutes. And
I don't blame the people as much because I think sometimes the flute companies are aiming towards that. They're trying to convince people to add on things like a splitty and to get like your bells and whistles and your trill keys and all that shit. And you're thinking, honestly, until you get to the really high level, just practice.
I mean, it's
fine.
just a matter of practice. Of course, your flute has to meet certain standards,
Yeah, of
minimums.
course. Yeah.
You cannot be playing professionally with a student flute. That's true.
Yeah, plastic flute.
But
yeah.
that's it.
No.
You cannot be playing with that kind of things. But saying that you need a gold flute to just do like a professional flute player live,
Yeah.
for me it's a lie. Like you
Well,
don't
perfect
need,
example, yeah.
Yeah,
Like you recorded both your albums on this flute
both
as well?
of my albums were with this flute, and as I told you, that this flute is starting to need a service.
Yeah.
Let's call it like that. But anyways, I did record with it, and it's fine. Like it's good. So
it's good enough for Juan. It's good enough for you.
Absolutely. Don't go out there and spend 50,000 euros on a yellow
really
flute just because.
If you've got 50,000 euros to spend, consider donating to the Inline Flute podcast instead.
Absolutely.
Your money will be much better over here. I'll book Pau. I'll book Emmanuel Pau to come on the
absolutely,
podcast.
he will be next
We'll drink
week here.
sangria. If you get me 50k, give it to me and I'll book him and sit down here. And we'll fly Juan in as well and we'll get drunk together.
Yeah, so I will just be
We'll
doing
talk
the drinks.
smack about
You
Le
guys
Freak.
talk.
You see, you know about this Le Freak thing, yeah?
Oh yeah, don't.
Okay,
do you
we're not
want
going
it?
to
No,
start
no,
on
no.
it, but what I do want to say is I saw one picture when I was digging in my research of Bau where he was like endorsing it, but it was just a picture of him without it on his flute, and he did do one concert with it on his flute. Now I'm thinking if he did one concert, and I'm saying there, either he's doing it to try it out, which I would think is very Bau, or there's a bit of sponsorship in there. But if he's only done it once, he never did it again, it makes me a bit suspicious.
I mean, it's suspicious, and that happens. I can imagine a flute player
Or someone going, please, just
like,
put it on for one concert. So
I will pay
he's
you
nice, so he'll be like,
this
oh,
money so you can play your flute with this thingy.
Actually, I will say I don't think it's pay because I've met him. I've had the pleasure of meeting him. He's a very nice guy. I think it would be more someone said to him, would you please do this as a favour? Try it out. You got nothing to lose. And go, yeah, fuck it, why not? Not knowing that everyone's going to use it to defend it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, there's not a fracking
No, there's no. I mean, no shade, but I don't think that
yes,
anything. Yeah, well, yes.
Shade from me. Fucking shade.
I don't think that anything that you attach to your flute with a rubber will give you more vibration.
Yeah.
I mean, from a
go
scientific
listen to Juan's album. And if you tell me he needs a Lefrak, well then I'll listen.
Yeah,
to
well,
it,
if
but
you say I need it, I will fucking buy the
yeah.
24.
Okay, there you are.
But
yeah. Give me your feedback.
actually, I think maybe I need to practice more, but
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
fork on my flute.
Well, there we are. Yeah, so you heard it here first. So it's great having a guest on who agrees with me all the time.
Absolutely.
Right, we're going to round off this podcast. We've got some games. 2 games I've got for you. First one is going to be quite simple. I'm going to play you a little bit of a flute piece, and you're going to try and guess the flute player.
Okay.
Now, this isn't easy. I will say, first of all the flute players on the list are well-known flute players. I haven't picked someone bizarre or obscure that you don't know.
Okay.
And second of all, because it is quite difficult to do, if you need a hint, I can give you like multiple choice for each one.
Okay.
So I can narrow it down to 3 players for each one. We can try it. So we'll try. I think I've got quite a few of these, but we'll see how much time we have.
I'm sure I'm very bad at this, but let's give it
so
a try.
And then the second game is going to be something a little bit different, where I'm going to play certain excerpts of flute pieces.
Cool.
Small excerpts, and you will know the pieces, but you have to try and tell me if you can get it from a very obscure excerpt.
Okay.
So
sounds cool.
First game is going to be guess the flute player. Yeah. You'll know the piece anyway. Okay, here we go. Number 1. I hope this comes out here. It should do. Here we are. That says listen from my speaker.
This is either James Galway and Martha Argerich recording, or it sounds like so old school. This vibrato is no longer legal, I think, in flute world. Pity, because I love vibrato.
Well, actually, I'm not going to stop you there. You're 100% correct. It is James Galway and Martha Argerich. That's fucking good, man. Well done. I would have thought I would. Yeah, that you think you're going to get Galway straight away, but there's sometimes you're like,
yeah. No, but he's quite recognizable. At least for a Galway fan, like.
Yeah, for a Galway fan, he is. Okay, next one.
this is another vintage recording, I would say.
Do you know the piece, first of all?
Yeah, I've played this, but don't
Have
kill
you?
me.
Okay.
Yeah, I've played this with when I was with Jacques studying, but I don't remember the name right now. I'm sorry. Like that happens to me.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Is it originally a flute piece? I'm not even sure if it is.
No, this is the violin. This is a piece for violin.
Yeah,
like
by Sanson.
Sanson. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah, because I have kind of an idea. Like this is old school also.
Well, then I'll give you your clue because I have different ways I'm going to give you clues. I'll give you it this way. It is a relatively recent recording.
Okay.
So it is in the last. I'll tell you. I think it's in the last 10 years anyway.
Wow. It might be Denis Buryakov then.
Spot on. 2 out of 2. Yeah. Denis Buryakov on the only album he actually has on Spotify is that one. It is a superb album.
Yeah, nice.
What else is on it? Actually?
I've said like vintage because it has.
Sanson,
for me, Denis Buryakov has this old school quality. Like he's just a stunning, flawless.
To be fair, again, one of those flute players you just go, you're so fucking good. You can do whatever. I don't even care about your interpretation. You're too good. Yeah. Okay, next one. You obviously know this piece.
Of course.
I hate this piece. Anyway.
Me too.
I will say I think this is the hardest one on the entire list.
Yeah, here I'm lost.
I will give you one clue. Mm-hmm. It is a female flute player.
Yeah, it sounds like, I don't know. I know, like, with you, Madame Musnier, but that doesn't sound
I wouldn't do that, no. No.
Maybe, is it Jasmine Choi?
Well done! Jasmine Choi. 3 out of 3, man. You're nailing this. Fuck, fair play. Right, we've got a few more left. Let me see. So, we have the... you'll know this piece very well. But let me get to a good point of it so you know what's going on. Yeah. Okay, next one.
Oh, this is Jean-Pierre Rampal.
No, but it's funny you guessed that. I can see why you think. I can totally get why you think that. I will tell you, the person who recorded this, it's more modern, and they're from the same country as Monsieur Rampal.
Oh, okay. I was like, I must try again.
And it's, was he a student of Rampal? He might have been, but certainly, yeah, they would have known each other.
So we're talking about a French flute player.
It's a relatively recent recording. Yeah.
Someone that has studied with Rampal.
I think he would have. He's definitely French. He's very French. He's one of the most French men in the world.
I don't know. A very French flute player might be Mathieu Dufault, but I don't think he has.
You're close. It's not Mathieu.
No, it's Emmanuel Paud or no, it doesn't sound like the Paud recording. No, I'm completely lost here.
This is Philippe Bernol.
Oh, Philippe Bernol, of course.
And I know you're a bit of a fan of Bernol as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I like him and I like his flute class a lot. Like
I've watched his class a few times. Yeah,
like super nice, great.
He's a really cool guy as well, so it makes me like him more.
And his flute technique method is really something super.
They're really good. The control of the air one's amazing. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right, next one.
I need a hint for sure on this one.
What hint am I going to give you? This particular album was recorded quite recently, but the person recording, the flute player, has been making records since certainly the late 90s.
That again fits Paud.
It is Paud. Yeah. Paud is one of the ones that you think you're going to know straight away, but when I've played this game many times drunk with friends, and you're like, yeah, obviously I know who Paud is, but you listen to it and it's so subtle that you're like, you nearly go, oh yeah, that's Paud. And you go, is it Paud?
Yeah, no, because I think
what he does is so simple sometimes.
Because he's such a good flute player that you just get it straight. Like the flute music he's doing, you get a perfect version of it. Like, flawless, absolutely. And so it's like, yeah, I just know that what
yeah.
I'm listening is a
Perfect.
perfect interpretation of something.
Yeah.
So that fits Paul. And then it's when you know.
Yeah. Okay, we've got a few more. We'll do these quickly. Next one. Let me see.
I think that's a.
Do you genuinely know?
I think that's a brunette guy from Spain.
Yeah, that is Juan. I was really hoping that you go, who is that? I was really hoping you go, that
sounds like shit.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got that one as quickly then.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, next one.
What a sweet sound. Okay, the recording is quite vintage in this case, right? Like you can hear it.
It is. I think it's been remastered, but still, yeah.
Nah, yeah, but you get what it. So, I have some names like this could be Rampal also.
It is Rampal.
Yeah.
Who else were you thinking? Was it Nicolai as well?
I was actually thinking on one of the earliest. What is no, not Philippe, no, Patrick Galway.
Patrick Galway, yeah.
He has some old school recordings
Yeah,
as well.
they're beautiful,
beautiful. Also,
some of his recordings are insane.
Yeah, that is an insane flute player out there. Like,
yeah, he does some mad stuff as well.
Yeah.
And like, he's got the square keys on his flute.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Right, last one, and then we're going to do our other game. And I've got two more, but yeah, one's not really, doesn't really count because. Okay, where do I play this one? Sorry. You can see how professional this podcast is. Okay. I've picked standard repertoire, so. I think this is quite a tricky one, to be honest.
Yeah, this is tricky also.
You 100% know the flute player.
Yeah.
My clue would be it's vintage as well.
Yeah.
And it's a player that I think is a little bit underrated, maybe overshadowed a little bit by Jean-Pierre Rampal.
Yes, because it sounds like
if Rampal wasn't there, I think this guy would have been the main.
Yeah, maybe Orle Nicolette then.
Mm-hmm. There's Orle Nicolette, and the last one.
Of course, the king of flute.
Have you heard this? Yeah. Man, I love this recording. Like, I hate The Lion King, but it's great. So, you got that straight away. That's fucking.
Yeah,
I was curious if you get it before the flute even came on. That's from James Galway's. To be fair, I will say, it's good flute playing at that part. It's so fucking cheesy, it hurts. But the sound still there. Well done. That was a good. You only missed two of them.
No. Yeah, I feel like these kids in your school class that they are like, I'm gonna fail the exam, and then they got the top mark.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Next game. So I'm gonna play small bits of each one. You're gonna try and tell me what it is. Yeah. So it's a mixture. There's gonna be some solo flute stuff. There's gonna be some orchestral stuff. You're only gonna get a very small section of each one.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to be ready. So first piece. See if you can tell me what this piece is.
Wow.
Do you know
G major flute concerto, classic period for sure. So we are talking about either Pergolesi it's G major, or no, Stamitz is G major, but it's not this one. I don't know.
Not Stamitz. You're very close. Early classical G major. Yeah, you've got that right so far.
Because I've played this like when I was a kid.
Yeah, I've played it 100 times as well.
Yeah. It's no. What is the name I'm looking for? Yeah, give it with Quants, of course.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 million Quants concertos.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, that's a hard one.
The
Second
guy with
one.
the book.
I think you'll get this one.
Of course.
Have you got it already?
Flute solo of the second movement of the second piano concerto in C minor by the one and only Sergei Rachmaninoff.
Done. You got that a lot quicker than I thought you were going to get it. That's my favourite flute solo, I think, honestly.
Absolutely amazing.
It's a good album. That's one with
absolutely. Yes. If you don't know it, if you're not a flute player, just
oh my God,
go to Spotify.
That,
second movement, second piano.
It's never on like orchestral excerpts either because it's so short, but it is a gorgeous solo.
I think
I've never had the chance to play it yet either, but I love to play it.
I did like some years ago, and it's just these moments where you really say, "I'm happy to be a flute player here." Like,
right, 3 more to go. Next one.
Wow.
You will, if you don't get this, you will kick yourself. But
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
hard. It is hard, but when you hear when I tell you the answer, you're going to be like, fuck.
Yeah, because I literally now don't have any clue of this. Like,
If I tell you that it is a trio for flute, harp, and viola, will that help?
that might be Debussy then.
It is. It's the Debussy
Okay,
trio.
yeah, I haven't played. I need a harp player. If there is one out there, please.
And a
Yes.
viola player as well. Fuck's sake, they're the hardest
well, but
one to
it's
find.
easier to find a viola player. No shade.
Well,
harp
true,
player.
yeah. Okay, true. Right, 2 left. Next one.
It's
1000% know the piece, but I've picked a deliberately awkward one.
it kind of. I don't want to say the other one, so it looks like I don't know two pieces, but
Yeah.
it sounds like this is slow movement of the Beethoven Fourth Symphony. It kind of have that feeling.
That's it. Well done. It is the slow movement of the
Yeah.
No, sorry, not the Fourth Symphony.
The second or
Sixth. It's the pastoral.
it's from the Pastoral. Okay,
Pastoral.
okay.
Sorry, I missed. No, yeah, the
okay,
fourth
okay.
is the B flat major.
Yeah, it's B
No,
flat. Yeah,
it's
because
the
this
F
was
major,
A
like-
flat major.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that symphony.
Geez, perfect pitch.
Yeah, that's
That's cheating. Cheating. I was wondering when you said it right. Last one. Okay. I think I would get this one quite quickly, but this is a piece I know incredibly well.
Oh shit!
You've definitely. I'd be amazed if you
Yeah.
haven't played this.
I've heard this many times.
It's one of those pieces from the French period that
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really
where
sounds
all our
like
music comes from. Yeah.
yeah, it really sounds like it. But again, I don't have the knowledge that Mr. Garrett has here.
I think you do know this, but I'll give you 5 seconds to throw a guess out of one of those ones. That is Le Merle Noir by Olivier Messiaen.
Oh, of course.
It's a little bit in the middle, yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece also.
Ah,
Yeah,
wow.
I haven't played it. I just there's a
No, it's very short to be fair. It's only like 7 minutes or
there's
something,
a
isn't it?
really nice recording by Davide Formisano.
Oh yeah, everything by David Formisano.
Yeah, well, of course. That guy doesn't know.
Yeah, my favourite recording of that, I've got a few. Catherine Canton, my old teacher, recorded it because she knew Messiaen, and it's a really fun piece to play though. I love Messiaen's music. But
Okay,
anyway, that's a
I will-
podcast for another time. That was good. You had a really well. You were worried about not getting anything right.
Yeah, it was like
nailed
five.
that.
A lot of flute players.
I was so amazed you got the
very.
Buryakov one as well. That was very impressive. Right, well then we are out of time. We are done with the podcast today then, I think. So before we go, this is your chance. If you want to advertise or plug your social media or your albums or anything to the good people watching and listening, now's your chance. Away you go.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Juan.
Well, if after this hour of chatting with Mr. Gareth, I'm like an interesting profile to you, you can just check my work and my life in Instagram. My profile is Cossío, my last name, and then Flute. Cossío Flute, all together.
You'll get it in the description
Cossío
here as
is
well.
with 2 S. You will get it in the description. And you can find me as Juan Cossío in Spotify as like a artist profile, where you can find my 2 albums, and the third one I'll be doing soon that you
As an
will know
Inline
about.
G exclusive here.
That's it. So you can check me there. And anyways, I just want to thank you all for listening. Thanks,
thank you guys. It's been
Gareth,
so much
for,
fun.
for having me today at your studio. If you're a flute player, just enjoy what you're doing. Try to be humble. Try to be friends and friendly with everyone. It's a complicated world, definitely. It's complicated to get a job and to make it, but that
be nice
is
to each
not an
other.
alibi for being an asshole.
Yeah.
You should be more human. So
We're all in this
I mean,
together, guys.
We're all in this together. We're all fucked.
us against
Okay,
the
so
world. Yeah,
let's
we
just
are.
have a nice
What
time.
also helps is sangria as well.
Meet
so-
between flute players and just
Yeah.
drink a nice glass of something
Yeah,
and enjoy.
salute to that then. So
plenty.
we're away now. We're going to go to the pub. We're going to
Yeah,
have some more
so-
drinks. We're a bit drunk.
And I hope you
Guys,
guys-
yeah. Should we say goodbye then? We're going to fuck
Yeah.
off, aren't we?
Yeah.
Cheerio, guys. Have a great one.
Have a
Mwah.
great one. Ciao, guys.